I stood in the sterile hospital corridor in Ann Arbor, Michigan, the discharge papers trembling in my hands like they carried a death sentence. At 17, I had just learned my rare aggressive leukemia required immediate, expensive treatment, something my body couldn't fight alone. The doctor's words still echoed, "Time is critical. Without intervention soon, the odds drop fast." I had collapsed during AP chemistry class earlier that week. The metallic taste in my mouth, the room spinning, students scattering as I hit the linoleum. My parents, Mark and Susan Thompson, arrived with practice concern. They ran a respected college admissions consulting firm from our basement office, helping wealthy families craft perfect narratives for elite schools like the University of Michigan. Their star client was always my older brother Brandon, 2 years ahead. Soccer star, debate captain, volunteer standout, early acceptance to Michigan. In the consultation room, I pretended to sleep while thin walls betrayed everything. My mother's sharp breath, my father's murmur about insurance caps, second mortgage risks, Brandon's deposit deadline looming in months. "We've committed everything to his future," Dad said. Mom added, voice steady with finality. "There must be alternatives for Emily, charity, trials. We can't jeopardize Brandon's path." The silence after confirmed it. I was the acceptable loss. That night in the hospital bed, machines beeping like a countdown, antiseptic smell thick. I felt myself fading. They patted my hand, promised "You'll get through this," but the "we" was absent. The next morning, against medical advice, I walked 3 miles home in the dark, legs weak, duffel bag packed with essentials, $380 saved from bookstore shifts, photos of Aunt Rachel, who lived 45 minutes away in Detroit. At 3 a.m., her voice on the phone cut through my fear. "Emily, stay put. I'm coming now." She arrived before dawn, headlights off, pulled me into a hug that smelled of lavender and safety. In her small one-bedroom condo, warm and cluttered with medical billing textbooks from her unfinished degree, she listened as I spilled the overheard conversation. Diagnosis. Costs nearing $80,000 for initial protocol. Her knuckles whitened on the steering wheel. "Your parents have always excelled at calculations. But some things defy math." We started fighting at sunrise, calls to specialists, insurance loopholes, charity programs. She set up appointments at Detroit Medical Center, leveraging old billing contacts. The weeks blurred into 4 drips, nausea waves, hair loss, exhaustion that pinned me to the pull-out couch. She surrendered to me. Rachel sold her condo equity after 12 years to cover gaps, downsizing to a studio near the hospital. "Walls aren't family," she said simply. Her overtime clicks on the keyboard became my lullaby. She learned 17 soup recipes, labeled freezer notes for good days and bad. When my parents called weeks later, Rachel answered coldly, "She's getting treatment, no thanks to you." She blocked them after. I cried quietly then, not just from abandonment but from the foreign feeling of being chosen unconditionally. Recovery was slow victories, headaches easing, blood counts rising, walking stairs without collapse. Rachel celebrated each with cake, reminding me doctors gave 15% odds. My parents had bet against those odds for Brandon's 100% acceptance. Logic felt like cowardice wrapped in spreadsheets. By senior year, I transferred to a Detroit public high school, commuting with Rachel on treatment days. My hair grew back clear, wilder, like my body reclaiming itself. Classmates asked where I transferred from. I answered, "Another life." Milestone stacked. First full meal. Calculus without dizziness. Remission declared by spring. Rachel taught me medical billing during recovery nights, spotting coding errors, insurance appeals, leverage points in bureaucracy. I applied the lessons ruthlessly. slashing our bills 40%, saving her nearly $20,000 through disputes. You see patterns others miss, she praised. Patterns revealed my parents' world. Interconnected networks. Reputation as cornerstone. Endorsements from gatekeepers like retired admissions deans who valued ethics and family duty. Acceptance to Michigan State came with scholarship, citing my medical journey. Family details omitted for later impact. Rachel watched me stare at the letter. You're planning something bigger. I'm planning justice, I replied. She hugged me. Lavender shampoo scent grounding. Live well first. The rest is seasoning. College sharpened my strategy. Business administration. Strategic management major. Ironic given my parents' failure to manage their own daughter. Evenings at Rachel's promoted billing firm. I researched their ecosystem. Conference speakers. Blog quotes. Summer workshops generating major revenue. Keystone was Dean Harlan Whitaker. Ethical writings on nurturing potential and family responsibility. His endorsement anchored their credibility. Evidence built methodically. Screenshots of moms celebrating Brandon's acceptance while I underwent chemo. Unanswered hospital emails. Discharge notes citing financial refusal. Bank transfers to Michigan days after diagnosis. A former neighbor provided a declined medical transport bill. The package was clinical, not emotional. Timestamps. Statements. Proof of calculated abandonment. I sent the letter to Whitaker overnight, detailing how endorsed consultants failed their own child, choosing tuition over life-saving care. My survival and advocacy work. No demands. Just truth for him to weigh against their reputation. Rachel warned revenge transforms you. I squeezed her hand. I want to be someone who remembers every life has value. 3 weeks later, their website removed Whitaker's testimonial. Summer workshops canceled quietly. Whispers spread in the small Midwest consulting circle. Ethics questions. Lost clients. I monitored via alerts under aliases as their empire eroded. No conferences. Dropped endorsements. Contracts voided. I launched a support group at Detroit Public Library for families misled by admissions consultants. Stories poured out anonymously over promises. Exaggerated disabilities. $30,000 fees for community college outcomes. The Morgans, wait. Thompsons, emerged repeatedly. I recorded with permission. Building an archive. My Medium post. The hidden price of college dreams, under my name with bio as medical billing advocate, went viral. Anonymized accounts. Data on debts. Promises versus reality. Chronicle of Higher Education picked it up. Washington Post referenced admissions anxiety. Clients fled. Rebrands failed fast, new names. But Google and networks remembered. Brandon messaged at 2 a.m., "Stop destroying them." You survived. I replied. Despite them, not because of them. He dropped out of Michigan's senior year as income vanished. The Ann Arbor house listed. Business site went to maintenance mode. At the Minneapolis Education Expo, I registered our nonprofit booth near their stage. They looked diminished, graying. Suits loose. Forced confidence cracking as they reframed collapse as resilience and industry shifts. Mom clicked slides of stock happy families. I stood. What about choosing your own child's medical needs versus educational future? Gasps. Phones recording. How do you advise when treatment costs threaten tuition? Dad deflected forum. I pressed. Distributing documents row by row, bills. Emails. Transport refusal. You calculated my 15% odds against his 100% acceptance. Math was simple. But love isn't. Audience erupted. Demands for refunds. Questions. Security hovered. I detailed resilience. Walking miles post-discharge. Chemo navigation. Building without them. You taught cost-benefit. Your cost, everything built. Benefit, No more children failed by you. I noted Brandon's dropout. Doors closed with thud behind me. Video spread, organizers distanced, refunds flooded. Their last revival died. 6 months later, Rachel knocked. Visitors. My parents stood broken, studio in Racine, dad at tax prep, mom stocking shelves, heart attack bills insurmountable, bankruptcy looming. We need help, mom said. Envelope of staggering numbers. I stayed professional. Our nonprofit reviews applications without discrimination. Fill honestly why you need help. They left smaller. Defeated. Intake form later revealed mom's admission, choosing Brandon's education over my treatment. Her survival, without us teaching survival, isn't about deserving, but someone choosing to save anyway. I assigned top advocate with note for maximum reductions. At a coffee shop months on, they shared 1 cup. Scanning listings. Mom nodded acknowledgement across room. I nodded back. Turned away. Rachel asked how I felt. Like debt paid with interest. At 24. Reviewing grants in our small downtown office. I deleted old contacts. Family photos. Final threads. First thought next morning, grant proposal? Not them. Best revenge wasn't destruction. It was becoming unimaginable to them. Building from nothing they left. Then releasing wreckage without glance back. Some stories seek reconciliation or justice. Mine settles simpler. I survived. Thrived. Let go, not for their freedom from choices, but mine from carrying them. What weight do we release when survival redefines family? That question lingers.